Hello magical hands, and welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Jessica, and for today's tutorial we are going to be recreating this beautiful kimono dress. So before we get into the tutorial, I would like to explain a few things about the fabric. So for the fabric I used an organza fabric, a very regular organza fabric. So I got it to make ruffles for a client's dress, and the mistake I made was getting the organza before getting the plain fabric. So when we got the organza, I couldn't get the exact shade for the plain fabric, so we had to settle for the next closest color, and I already gotten this, so I was stuck with it, and hence we are making this. Now other fabric options I would give would be chiffon fabric. Chiffon shines, chiffon is flawless. I feel like chiffon was the fabric used for the picture inspiration. I don't know, but that's what my instinct is telling me. And then another fabric option would be organdy. The quality of organdy is more than the quality of organza, and organdy costs ×2 of the organza. There was no difference in the texture, there was no difference, but it is said to have more quality. So in case you're looking forward to getting a more quality one, organdy will also be an option. Now that you've seen the results of the kimono, if it's something you're interested in making, make sure to keep on watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe.
So for my fabric, I have exactly 3 yards here, but I was not able to exhaust the whole 3 yards. I'll need my measuring tape, I'll need my chalk, I will need my ruler, and I'll proceed to fold this fabric up. So I opened up the organza, and this is the part where the yards are measured, which is apparently the longest side, and I have 3 yards like I mentioned. So I'm going to fold up the yards into 2, just as seen, and then after I'm done folding it up, I'll just arrange everything on the floor as seen. Now I'm going to fold again into 4 in the other direction, no longer from the side where the yards are measured. I'll fold everything up into 4 as seen in the other direction. Now I'll use this paper to explain. So this long part is where the yards are measured. We have our 3 yards there, and then we'll fold the yards into 2. So after we've folded the yard into 2, we are now going to fold in the other direction, okay, just as seen. We're going to clap it as seen, and we have the fabric folded into 4. That's exactly how I folded it. So now I'm going to go ahead and iron this organza fabric. If you've never worked with an organza fabric before, I would just like to let you know that organza fabrics are not all that easy to work with, as even chiffon fabrics too. They are very light and they can just move anyhow they want to move. So ironing this is going to make sure it stays in one place. The next thing I'm going to mark is the full length of my kimono. As you can see, it's a free kimono, and you can also use my measurements. So for the full length, I marked exactly 41 inches, which includes my hemming allowance, and I made a straight line across that point. And then I proceeded to cut out the excess, and we'll keep that aside probably for another project. So the next thing we'll move on to is going to be the neckline. This is the whole length I'm working with. I marked 3 inches for the neck width, and then for the neck depth I marked 1.5 inch for the neck depth. Apparently this is for the back piece, but we are just going to connect it together as seen and just use it for both the front and back for now. So after marking the neckline, I went ahead to cut it out, and then I still went ahead to place my tape from that part. I shouldn't have cut it out before doing this, but I already did. And then I marked to my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So my shoulder measurement divided by 2 is 7.5. And right at that point, that's where the shoulder measurement ends, I'm going to mark how long I want the sleeves to be. And I use 15 inches from my shoulder to my sleeve measurement. So after that 15 inches, I still proceeded to add 2 inches for hemming of the sleeve area or the hand area. I added 2 inches extra, and then I'm going to make a very straight line down to the full length as seen. So I'll cut out the excess fabric we have at that end, because we'll no longer be needing that part, and this is exactly what I need to make this kimono here. So I'm going to open this up so we can have a closer view of it. This is what the neckline looks like so far. I'm still going to work on the neckline for the front piece. So I'm going to separate them like this. I'm just going to pick them up and I'll just arrange it as seen, so that I can focus on the front neckline. So this way we have our front piece and the back piece facing each other along the neckline as seen. So where the neck width ends, I'm just going to freestyle a V neckline to the full length, and I'm not just going to stop there. I'm going to continue cutting down to the full length, and that's like me reducing exactly 1 inch from the center front, and I've been able to split open my front piece. So I'm going to place everything back on the fabric on the floor as seen, and everything is beginning to make more sense, going to take more shape. So we have the necklines ready, and now we'll proceed to start hemming that 2 inches I added for the hem allowance for the sleeve or the hand area. And this is how I'm going to sew it. So I'll first of all fold in 1 inch, and then I'll fold in another 1 inch, which will look like this, and you will sew very, very close to the edge of this, and this is what you're expected to have. So you can, if you want yours to have a bigger band, you can just increase that measurement to probably 3 inches or 4 inches thereabouts. So after doing that, I'm going to pick from one of the fabrics that I kept aside, and I'm going to use it to finish up the neckline area. I'm going to cut as long as I can, and then you can cut it as wide as you want depending on what you want to use, but I used 4 inches. So by the time I joined it, I was left with 3 inches. So in order to attach my band, I just sewed one side of this first to the neckline area. I just sewed one side first, and then for the other side I folded it in before using it to finish up the sewing. This way it's going to look much neat because this organza fabric is very transparent, so this is the neatest way to go about it. And also that rough edges that was inside, I later on had to try to flip it over so that I could cut it out because it wasn't looking good considering that the organza was very transparent. So this is what it looks like. As I was sewing, I kept on ironing because, as you know, organza is organza, and this is the final result we have. Now we are going to proceed to the base. And for the base, I'm going to hem exactly 1 inch from the base. Remember, my full length was 41 inches. So by the time I hem 1 inch from the base, I'll be left with exactly 40 inches. And I'm just going to hem the base the regular way of hemming. So now I made this band. I folded this band. I just did a very long band that I'll be doing for the sides. So I marked downwards 13 inches, and that is where I'm going to be sewing my band. So this band was just something I saw in the picture inspiration, and I just, since we're recreating it, why not do it too? So you're just going to fix it there, and the length of that band that I cut is 5 inches long. So I also did the same thing to the other side as well. I marked downwards 13 inches, and then I fixed my band in that area. So this is exactly how I'll be sewing up the band on my sewing machine. So just so you have a closer view. So I sewed along the 4 corners of the whole band to just create a nice square, and this is what it looks like. And I'm going to attach the band to this other side just as in, so I can connect both the sleeves together. So at this point I put it on so we had a close view of what it's looking like so far, and I also did the same thing to the other side as well. So in order to sew the side ruffles that gave this kimono a very nice fit, there are so many ways to go about it, but what I did was I just pleated the lower side. So those that side piece together, I'm just going to place them together as seen, and I'm going to sew on it just as seen. So as I'm sewing, I'm going to be making big pleats, very, very big pleats, and this is what it looks like. And I'm making sure that it's catching both of them, and I'll go ahead for the second one, and I'll do it close to where I have that band that is joining the both sides together. So after I have done my pleats, at this point I was not okay with the volume of the pleats. So what I did was I still went ahead to pleat on the pleat again, to make another pleat on it just as seen, so that I can have more volume. I don't know if there are other methods you want to try. You can go ahead and try, but this was what I did, and this was the result it gave me. So I just went ahead to make sure that I have enough volume along that part. Now this is what it looks like. I just sewed it close to where I have this other band that is at that side, and then this is what it looks like so far. You can tell the difference between this side and the other side that I've not done yet. So
I'll go ahead and do the same thing to the other side, and this is what it looks like. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. If you did, make sure to give us a thumbs up, make sure to like, make sure to share, and see you in my next video. Bye.